in 2010. Gronk has the most total touchdowns of any player by at least 5. Impressive. Shannon, this is most certainly your wheelhouse. Where would you rank Gronk on the all-time tight ends list?
He's number one for me. I mean, there's no other way around it. You look at what he's done, like I said, the numbers that he's put up in the regular season, and then he's taken it to another level come postseason time. The 4 Super Bowls, 3 the Patriots, 1 with the Bucs. He has the most postseason touchdowns by a tight end, 15. Second most touchdown any position behind Jerry Rice with 22. Jerry has 22. He has 15. Second most touchdown in Super Bowl 5. Jerry Rice has 8. 12th most touchdowns in NFL history. Third behind Gates and Gonzalez. Gates played 236 games. Gonzo played 270.
Yep.
Skip, I mean, he's second most receiving yards. Kelsey's up there. Third most receiving touchdowns. Mentioned that. He has 4 1,000-yard seasons. Kelsey's passed him back. He's tied with Gonzalez for the second most. Like I said, I think Kelsey has an outside chance if he can get to another Super Bowl or 2 and win those. I think he's going to have a strong, compelling case because we've seen how well he performs in the postseason, and we see the numbers, the 6 consecutive. That's what's so amazing about Kels, is that the 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons when nobody's had more than 2. And I was one of the guys that had 2. And I thought I was doing something. Now, this is a different era now, Skip. But guess what? There are a lot of other great tight ends that's playing in this era, and they haven't had 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So don't give me that, well, it's a pass. Yeah, it is. But guess what? Kelsey's not the only tight end that's playing in this passing era right now. But for me, Skip, he's it. He's big time. He clutch. He's done everything you could ask a guy at that position, and he also blocked. Now, it wasn't a situation where they had 1,000 yards, but a lot of these guys, there are limitations that we all had. But, Skip, for me, it's hard for me to say that there's better based on career achievement, in-game, what he's been able to do in the regular season. It's just hard for me to put someone. And I have the utmost respect for all of these guys. I love Big Kel. Talk to him when we see him. Ozzie, I love these guys. I love the young Ozzie Newsome. Yep. I love the young guys. I was at the tail end of my career. The next year is when Gates came in and took over, played a little bit with Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez. But Skip, no. None of them going in front of Gronk right now. If Gronk is done, which I believe he is, he can say, I'm the best tight end until further notice. It's kind of like Jack. Jack was the best in golf, Skip. Jack Nicklaus was the best golfer until further notice. Yep. I mean, some might still say, but I believe it's Tiger Woods. Somebody come along and pass him as far as, like, you know, get a couple of Super Bowls. I don't believe you have to have the most Super Bowls to be the best. But if you look at the amount of Super Bowls that he has, you look at the playoff games in which he's been big, you look at the Super Bowl games in which he's been big, and you look at the regular season, I don't know if you can find a comparable tight end that possesses all of that.
All right. So maybe I should disqualify myself up front because I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan. So by association, I'm a big Gronk fan. So it's easy for me to hear you, a Hall of Fame tight end, say, Gronkowski, is the greatest tight end ever. And it's music to my ears because Brady, to me, is the greatest quarterback ever without question.
Yes.
So it seems simpatico, like it should be. Right. This leads to this.
Right.
So last night, after we heard the news that he is allegedly retired again, not sure about that, but we're having to sort of face the fact it could be an inevitability just because his body's finally giving up on him and maybe his spirit is giving up on him. Okay, I'm going to give you on Gronk. There's magic to him. There's clutch magic to him. There's something special about him because there's something where he just seems special in the way he carried himself, the way he fought against the Patriot way, Belichick's, you know, his iron fist that he ruled with.
Right.
I love all that about him. He has an edge to him. He is a lightning rod figure because he did it his way against the Patriot way. So I'm going to give you all the above. Then I sit back and I start to look harder and harder at the numbers last night. And I say, wait a second. Once upon a time, not too many years ago, Tony Gonzalez was a big presence on this show. For many Mondays, he sat right here next to us. And I start looking at what he achieved. And it had been lost on me because I don't even really think that much about him because he wasn't really a lightning rod. He was always a good guy. He was good with the media, but it's not like everybody ran to hear what Tony was going to say because he said a lot without saying a whole lot, right?
He let his play talk speak for him.
I'm looking at this. He made a record 14 Pro Bowls. What did you make? I
made 8.
Okay, 14 Pro Bowls. Gronk made 5.
Yeah.
14-5, but you are just shooing in Gronk as the greatest ever. Okay? I honor that. I respect that. But then I look at Tony Gonzalez, and there's some LeBron going on here on longevity because he played 17 years and missed 2 games. It's impossible.
I don't know how he did it.
It's Iron Man. It's LeBron-esque, and LeBron's starting to break down just a little bit here of late, but LeBron is going to set a lot of records that I call just straight longevity. He just played longer than anybody else. He played way longer than Michael Jordan. Well, Tony played way longer than Gronk. Gronk doesn't even have half the catches, not even half the catches that Tony registered in the regular season. And we just got every stat. It's just way in favor of touchdowns. 111 for Tony Gonzalez to 92 for Gronk. Yards per catch, Gronk had more. He's 15 per catch to 11 for Tony.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's that's wide receiver stuff.
I got it. Okay. Now we get down to what you brought up in our opening segment here, and you said it's not fair to rate or discount the quarterbacks that these players played with. Well, look, Gronk has played with just one guy.
Yes.
And he played with the guy, and I do think it benefited him greatly.
Yes.
I'm just being objective about this.
It does, Skip, absolutely.
Now, I look at Tony. He comes into Kansas City, and he was the 13th overall pick out of Cal, where he also played basketball like Gates did. So he comes in 13th overall, and his quarterbacks in order were Elvis Grbac, not bad, but not great. Then he got Rich Gannon at the tail end of his career. Not bad.
Well, it was before Skip. No, actually, he got Gannon before Gannon went to Oakland.
He went, I'm
and turned,
You're right, because I had him in Oakland.
Yeah.
But he was already an older quarterback.
Absolutely,
And then he got Trent Green for 3 years. Not bad, but not great. And then he got Damon Heward for 2 years. And then he got Tyler Thigpen for a year, a whole year. Okay? Well, I'm just saying, it's not exactly murderer's row.
No. He had some good. He had some guys that went to the Pro Bowl. They were good.
I mean, Rich Gannon was on his way. He's going to win an MVP.
Trent went to the Pro Bowl.
He did.
Elvis, I think Elvis had the 1 year because Elvis. We got Elvis when he put up that great season. He ended up coming to Baltimore, Skip, in 2001.
Okay.
So he had a great season. Skip, if you look at Gates, Gates' quarterbacks were Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. Do you believe any of those quarterbacks are going to be in the Hall of Fame? I do. Kellen Winslow, he had Dan Fouts for his career. Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame. Who else? Travis Kelce. He had Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith. Alex Smith went to a couple of Pro Bowls. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to end up in Canton one day. Jimmy Graham, he had Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. Are any of those guys going to end up in Canton? I believe they are. The only guy that has a compelling case is Ozzie Newsome, and he had Brian Sipe and he had Bernie Kosar.
Boy, listen, they both had some years though where they would have
Brian
a
Sipe,
year.
I think Brian Sipe won the MVP one year.
He did.
So
because my guy Paul Hackett was his coordinator.
Yeah. So Skip, everybody. I mean, and Jason Witten had Tony Romo and had Dak Prescott. So we've all had. Only Tony. I think Tony.
You got to give him some credit on degree of difficulty here, right?
Yes.
Then he goes on to Atlanta and he gets Matt Ryan, who was destined to win an MVP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which came after Tony was gone.
No, I think Tony played in the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Did he play that year?
He came in '96.
Okay.
Nah. He was gone.
Okay, so the point was, Matt Ryan's, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Okay? Of that list that I gave you, I'd say he's easily the best.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you that. Okay, where Gronk crushes Tony is in the postseason.
Yes.
Because he's got Brady, and he played 22 postseason games, 22-7 for Tony.
Right.
And Tony lost all but one. He was 1-6 in the postseason. He won one in Atlanta with Matt Ryan against Seattle at home.
Yes.
Remember that? And then they turned right around and lost to Cap to San Francisco to get San Francisco to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So You look at the postseason numbers, they're just swung completely. Gronk, he just crushed him.
He crushed everybody.
He crushed everybody because he was on really good teams with a really, really, really good quarterback.
Yeah.
So
and they played a lot of games, so he got a lot of stats.
He got a lot of stats. But are you sure we're not discounting Tony Gonzalez?